For our next story, let's go back in time. The year was 1953. Mohammad Mossadegh was Iran's democratically elected prime minister. He moved to nationalize the country's oil, one that was under British control for decades. The United Kingdom was not pleased, neither is Washington. So in classic Cold War style, the CIA and MI6 engineer a coup. Mossadegh was ousted. A puppet monarch, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, was reinstalled. For the West, this was a win. For Iran, this was the seed of the 1979 revolution, one that toppled the Shah and brought in the Islamic regime. Fast forward to 2025, and the whispers of regime change are back in the air. Where did this chatter come from? Who is saying what? And could another regime change in Iran end up in blunder? Let's look at it. First, Israel strikes killed Iranian top leaders. Then Israel approved a plan to kill the country's supreme leader. US President Donald Trump vetoed it. But he did issue a threat to Ayatollah Khamenei. He said Washington knew where he was hiding and that they were not killing him, at least for now. Since then, Israel has asked multiple times about regime change. And Netanyahu has just one thing to say. The operational goal was not regime change, but it could happen in the process.
But the matter of regime change is, first and foremost, up to the Iranian people. There is no shortcut to that. Therefore, I have not set it as an official or declared goal. It may be a result, but it is not an explicit objective of our operation.
But his own defense minister took a more blunt stance. I am talking about this man, Israel Katz. He has talked about eliminating Khamenei, adding that the supreme leader should not exist.
We set the goals of the war to be removing nuclear and destruction and missile threats, and in them the IDF was instructed and knows that in order to achieve them, within the overall targets, this man should not continue to exist.
Now the West already has a history of regime change in Iran, so manufacturing another one isn't a stretch for them. But in 1953, they had the Shah. Who do they have now? If the Islamic regime collapses, who takes over? Currently, there are a lot of names doing the rounds. The first is Reza Pahlavi. He is the son of Iran's last Shah. In 1979, his family fled the country and have since been living in exile. Since then, Reza Pahlavi has been living in the United States. He hasn't gone back to the country for over 45 years. Yet, he's propping himself up as an alternative. But while he commands some nostalgic loyalty, Reza Pahlavi has no clear base. More importantly, the Iranians don't like him.
The end of the Islamic Republic is the end of its 46-year war against the Iranian nation. The regime's apparatus of repression is falling apart. All it takes now is a nationwide uprising to put an end to this nightmare once and for all.
The second is the MEK. This is the Mujahideen-e-Khalq. It is a left-wing Muslim group. Its leader, Masood Rajavi, has not been seen for more than 20 years. So his wife, Maryam Rajavi, has taken control. The MEK wants to overthrow the regime, but it has skeletons in its closet. It was once aligned with Saddam Hussein. It also has Washington connections. So the Iranians don't trust them much. Third, there are progressive reformists. They have charisma, but no party structure. There are talks of them forming an emergency government with former President Hassan Rouhani and former Foreign Minister Javad Zarif. Four, there are ethnic minority groups, like the Kurdish and Baloch minorities. They have their grievances with the regime, but they also harbor secessionist aspirations. There's also the Women Life Freedom Movement. It started after the killing of the 22-year-old Mahsa Amini. She was killed for not wearing a hijab properly. This set off massive protests in the country. This movement was leading those protests, but it has no leader or roadmap. So Iran does have an opposition, but it is heavily fragmented. There is no one successor. And Iranians have paid the price for outside interference before. They don't want to pay it again. After all, this is a country of 90 million people. If it collapses, the consequences will be catastrophic. Think Syria, but 10 times bigger. Think Iraq on steroids. Think Libya, only with nuclear know-how.
Nous ne voulons pas un Iran qui se dote de l'arme nucléaire.
Does anyone think that what was done in Iraq in 2003 was a good idea? Does anyone think that what was done in Libya the next decade was a good idea? No. I'm also thinking of our friends in the region, in Iraq, Lebanon, and elsewhere. We must help them reduce everything that, indeed, threatens their security, but they need anything but chaos.
C'est constamment ce que la France fait depuis 10 ans.
The fallout could include a lot of scenarios. One, a dangerous power vacuum, warlords, militias, and extremist groups scrambling for control. Two, a humanitarian catastrophe. Millions of refugees flooding neighboring countries and Europe. And three, nuclear weapons. Their technology or even material could fall in unknown hands. So a failed Iran isn't just a West Asian crisis. It's a global security nightmare in the making. And if recent history has taught us anything, from Iraq to Libya, regime collapse without a clear plan doesn't end conflict. It only opens the gates to chaos.
Firstpost now available in 9 languages on YouTube. English,
Stands at $36 trillion.
French,
Le FMI, comme
German,
Geschäftsführenden Direktor
Hindi,
$30 trillion ka kaljo.
Indonesian,
Pemerintah tanpa pemeriksaan.
Italian,
Sekali radikali.
Japanese,
$4
Portuguese,
por causa do próprio balanço patrimonial.
Spanish.
Beautiful bill.
Go to Settings, click on Audio Track and select the language of your choice. Be the first to know what's happening around you in your first language. Firstpost.